and welcome, Lego My Ego. How are you? It's not the BST. This is either going to be on Mara Will Out or Mara Bird Inc. I'm not sure which. We shall see. But anyways, you're watching it, you're here, and this is my new non-eggnog. Ow! Oh my goodness. Hot and spicy. Oh yeah. Hot and spicy. There's a lot of energy going around. There's a lot of love that has been lost in the past month. Let's just put it that way. Karma, Daddy Saturn, decided to go forwards. Well, not decided. Went ahead and went forwards, and so people are reaping the karma of what they did last year. And it's no bueno. And this is why I don't have any family. And I'm going to introduce you to my new family. Well, not my new family. My family. I cut off all of my family. What is it, 2020? Yeah. And I've spoken to my brother once, but that was last year. He contacted me on my birthday and was fishing for information. So, sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, so like y'all, you're going to start to learn more about me and my story as we go along. And this is a really big part of my story. And, if you want to know more about that, that will be on the podcast about how everything came to be. But I want to, first of all, introduce you. This has been my family for the past 4 years. I've been traveling solo, and this has been my family. 30 decks of cards. It's actually 27. I got a new deck last year, so it's but one deck is the vice versa, and it's 30, technically 30 decks of cards that I have been working with, and they have managed to help me travel, help me meet people, help me navigate things. When I didn't have anyone, I had these decks, and it's a language between you and your guides. People don't realize that. They think it's always, there's a certain type of magic there, but it's actually all vibration. And when you start when you stop demonizing card divination, it is such an incredible tool in your life. And it's just been, to be able to know the intentions of the people around me, surrounding me at all times, when I was just a little Pollyanna. I was just a sweet soul that was very, very sheltered for very nefarious reasons. And we'll get into more of that story as well. The more I find out, the more you'll find out. I'm not a gatekeeper. I just had to be for a minute. So meet the family. We're not going to get into all of these decks. I am here. I am not clickbaiting you. This is 7 decks to rule them all. And I'm really, really good at what I do. I have been doing, matrimony, divorce proceedings, but I help people get leverage. I also help little kids escape abusers. But with the card divination specifically, we can get into, I'm a bird dog, right? I point in the right direction. I offer money back. Ow. See, everything is a sign. We'll stop there. We'll take that as a sign. If I get an owie, that means shh. So, let's pull it back in. There we go. Let's actually get down to the decks that I use and the reasons why I use them. Where are we at time-wise? Because we're already almost there. They're like, we're giving you 5 minutes, and that's it. All right. Salud. Happy New Year. This new year, 2024, is all about waking you up. So, I don't think I'm going to go in order. I'm going to go in fact, I'm not. I have this, okay, I do have this here. So, this is probably, if I had to choose one deck, this would be it. Hands down, I can do anything with this deck. And it's not tarot. It's artwork. What? It's artwork. Kim Kranz. Animal Spirit Pocket. The Unknown Animal Spirit Pocket Guide. The Wild Unknown Pocket Animal Spirit Guidebook. This is the tiny version. I do have the big version, which is what I used for a very long time. I have the tiny version now, and I've got 2 of them combined. If you want to be a prolific, professional reader that isn't just bound to the tarot, this deck, I mean, just the intuition, the artwork, it's just animals. It's animals. See, I was raised in a very, very, well now, thinking a sex cult, a very, very sheltered, unable to watch, like, I couldn't watch regular TV, no cartoons. I could watch animals. I could watch National Geographic. I could watch, like, old school stuff with Grandpa in the basement. Right? I could listen to Elvis. That's about as secular as I could get. But, so I'm just trying to give you an idea of the artwork. It's just animals. And so I was only exposed mainly to animals. All of the, and so I really connected with them. So when I saw this deck, it just really spoke to me. It's like, what? And so this, every deck, there's an intention that's set into the deck. This one was just all about animal spirits. And there are descriptions in here that you can use because the cards will, with the intention, paired with the intention, and the vibration will give you what you need in answers to your questions. If that means, I know I didn't articulate that well. We're still getting out of this Mercury, whatever. But that being said, you can absolutely go by the book. But when we start reading intuitively, it's how you feel. What does a hyena make you feel? Well, if you grew up in my generation, the hyenas were like the horrible characters in like The Lion King and The Jungle Book. Like, hyenas weird me out. But I also realized that I also have hyena spirit because I'm a Gemini and there is a duality, right? And I do use humor to deflect or navigate, maneuver the scenario. And so the animals are just very intuitive. Like, it's not... With tarot, it's archetypes and knowing what they mean and all this other stuff. And this is like, it's just, what does it make you feel like? Wow. Just felt like I dropped something. I feel like all of a sudden I just like astraled. Whew. Oh, I'm like, I just got in the pocket. Okay, got it. I was like, okay, so we're here now. We're in the cut. We're in the pocket. So yeah, with these cards, I can, and I am launching a matchmaking service, because if you've got, like, let's say 5 dudes in your DMs and you want to know who's the good one, in 3 cards I can tell you who's the good one or not. And I'll give you your money back, 100% guaranteed. Guaranteed. This is what I do. I profile. And I can do it with this deck of cards. I can do it with a regular deck of cards. But this, if you really want to know the intentions on the daily, because everybody changes, right? Sometimes you wake up and you're total in reverse. You're not the life of the party. And sometimes you wake up and you're peacock in the upright and you're feeling froggy, right? Like, or peacocky, right? So everybody, so you can tell what you can use these cards are like, what mood is my boss in when I walk in? What are the intentions of this landlord? Like, who are these people around me? Who's this guy in my DM? What does he want with me? Right? This deck of cards, and especially when you get 2 of them, and these, I'm telling you, these are like $8.99 a piece. So for less than a usual pack of regular tarot decks, because here's the thing, is when you get the 2, and you combine the 2, then all of a sudden you can see when people are mirroring you. When you're doing your readings, to my readers, to my high priests and high priestesses that are out there, and my budding readers, when you put 2 decks together that are the same, that's why we have so many tarot decks. It's not just because they're pretty, it is. Right? It's the artwork that, like, tips off the subconscious in order for us to remember things in our memory, in order to be able to articulate it to people in a way that they're able to understand. And that's why we have our separate collectives as readers. Right? But with these, you're able to, it's the intention of the cards are just in the intention of the animals. Where with other cards, it was meant to be something like something in the book. So these are very, just like, if you can start working with regular cards, like regular playing cards, I do. If you do pick a card, all you do is get a pack of regular cards, keep them on you, and you want to know what pile it is, just pull until you get, oh, it's pile number 3. The universe, this is establishing a language with your guides. And we are going to have another reading about that, or not, or episode about that. I feel like I've been doing readings for so long. This is an episode. So another thing about, this is a dream to shuffle. It's got eggs in it. It's got, what I love about it also is the elemental. So you've got water, your alchemical symbol. So like you're learning as well. For water is the upside down triangle, right? And the one for earth is the upside down triangle with a line through it. These are like actual, like I don't know if they're hermetic principles or whatever. We're going to get into it though. Like that's why we're here. We're going to start deep diving things that people want us to be afraid of. Why? Because they don't want us to identify them. They don't want us to know what they're doing behind the scenes. I'm the hardest person to date because in 3 cards, I can see where you're at if I ask the right question. Right? Nobody likes that, right? So drown them and burn them. Right? Okay. So this deck, I feel, has had its... we will go into more. We're actually, if you want to go ahead and get yourself a deck, hello to Spider in reverse, we will be getting into my personal interpretations of the cards, both in the upright and reverse, because I want everybody to be able to, like, if you can't, I don't really resonate with a lot of the meanings in here. So I'm just going to give you an idea of like how you can starting a personal, I use the word lexicon. A senior mama of mine, a mentor, a psychic mentor, calls it a lexicon. Oh my gosh, there's so much spirit here right now. There are so many answers. Can I speak? Apparently not. Ancestors right now. Okay, so what's next is big. This is big family in here. This is the big D. And it's like the softest, sweetest, loveliest, most beautiful. When I saw this deck, I was like, how can this demonic whatever be so beautiful? Like, how could this be taken away from me? Like, how did people not show me how gorgeous? Like, they just took this away, right? And it was like, in this deck is my heart. It is the most profound. It's like it's my Nana, who's not even my Nana, but she still walks beside me as my Nana, even with the apologies. Right? Gorgeousness, mantras. This is like, you open up your hymnal book, and you go to the hymnal, and the thing that's most familiar with you, the words that you sing, it's the same thing here. Time for a beginner mind. What is so devilish about that? Trust in divine detours, coyote spirit. Life is speeding up. What is so... my throat chakra closes up because people don't want me to talk about this. That's spiritual warfare right there. Shut her up. I'm not making this crap up. Collective. Woo! Good thing I got some creamy, delicious Lego My Eggo on hand. So, again, animal spirits I connect with. They really wanted to rip that out of me, huh? It's alright. It's something that when you put yourself out here on the screen, right? So people will send things through. So let's go ahead and clear some of that energy. Because it's hanging around like somebody cooked bacon. You can't get that shit out of the house. I'm like, let's go ahead and clear this out right here. Clear my throat chakra spirit. How dare she? Yeah, there it is. Oh, it's already loosening up. Woo! Yeah, bro. Well, it looks like I've got some people's attention. Or some, you know what? I'm not even afraid of your entities. Your entities are afraid of me and my peeps, and they're not even afraid. They're just lovely. I know it sounds crazy, but your crazy spirits that are sent, like they have benevolent sides, and if you're good to them, they'll be good to you. But you call on them to do shitty stuff, and they will, and they'll hold you accountable for it. They'll come and run into you. I don't serve anybody. I co-create if I choose. Everything is my choice. But I don't serve any entity. I don't give up firstborn children and all this other crap. No, they won't run with that. This isn't stuff that you play with. I think everybody's figuring that out now. But yeah, like we had to do, I gotta do around the head. This is how you have to roll, y'all, because energy's coming in. And when if you do decide to become a reader, you have to understand that this is part of the, like, you're opening yourself up through the YouTubes, through the internets. And so you are opening up but you can just, all you gotta do, it's called spiritual hygiene, right? It's upkeep. You gotta do it regularly. You gotta take a shower and brush your teeth every day. It's the same thing when you're doing this, okay? All right, my little puppies. All right, what's next? So, I honestly, we will do tarot. Tarot is not, I was very, what's the word? Just making sure where are we? I hope we're focused. We're going to find out. Let's see here. We'll just do a little check on there. So tarot, it's a system, and there are archetypes, right? And so you have to be able to, because it can really go wrong, reading cards wrong, and the interpretations of it. So really getting to know your archetypes, and that's something, again, I don't think I'm going to be putting on YouTube. I think I'll probably be doing more private, more really integrated lessons on how to read. You can go do there's so much stuff on the internet for like actual tarot definitions, and everybody has, and there are a lot of readers that are a lot better at explaining tarot than I am. I am an intuitive reader. The cards are just a jumping off place for my subconscious. But I do have a working knowledge and understanding of tarot, and I have a very deep respect for it. But I don't necessarily think that it's always the best way to start card divination or divination because of the complexity of it. And especially now what I know about vibration and like people like living in houses with a crap ton of people, like doing shared spaces, Airbnb, like your cards, you could get the wrong card because somebody walked by, right? So you got to know like what the cards actually are doing and saying, like, it's all vibration and it's all what's in your energy space. And when you start understanding that the cards are just a reflection of your subconscious, then you'll, like, you know, so tarot is very, like, it's not for the faint of heart, to say the least. And it's not because you're bringing in spirits or anything like that. These are just, literally, it's just art, jumping off points. So I do have I have 11 total tarot decks. And there's like probably about half of them that I hardly ever touch. But every once in a while, they're like, go get that one. And it's because there was one specific card that had one specific piece of artwork or letter on it, whatever it is, that was supposed to tip off my subconscious to be able to get a piece of information that was pertinent to the person that I was giving the reading to. And so that's why we have so many different decks, and that's why we're called. It's because the artwork on it, the intention of it, there's something in that card that's going to help us remember something about us. We co-create, we give you the information, and you get the information that you need from the universe, in our own experience. So, my first actual tarot deck, oh gosh, it was eight coins. I'm trying to think. I think this was the very first one. It's like I'm in flow right now, so I can't recall. I feel like this was my very, very first one though. Or did I go pick up 8 coins? I did, because I think I was at Barnes and Noble, and I was like putting my hand over the decks to see if I could feel anything. I didn't know anything about this stuff. So we've got the good tarot Good Tarot, Good Tarot. It's by Colette Baron Reid. She's a dream to shuffle. It's the softest. Again, it's actually the same person who made this deck. So there's just this warm, motherly, wonderful, wonderfulness to this deck. I can't even. And the artwork is absolutely stunning. And it really, it's an excellent beginner's deck because it really gives you the essence to the different elements and to the major arcana, right? So it's like when I say this is like Tarot 101, absolutely. And you know, like here, like they don't even, it's the Good Tarot. It's like it's what I said the other day, the Joel Osteen of tarot decks. Like there's not even a death card in here. It's transformation, because death is not death. Death is death and rebirth. It's cycles. Everything in the tarot is all about cycles, and we'll get into that. We'll tell you the story about tarot. I don't think I'll be doing the classes over here. I think they'll be behind the paywall of Patreon. So we have, transformation. Even the devil in here is called temptation. It's a very, very light, brothy. It's the Pinot Grigio. Okay, this is like a light lemonade spritzer on the porch type of tarot deck if you're looking for something. And if you're really looking to be inspired, if you're really looking for a deck that will just set your intuition off with all of the imagery, the artwork, this is the deck for you. You'll see things in here. It's kind of like one of those, actually, one of my mama mentors, it's like the McEscher, like the 3D posters, and it's like when you soften your gaze, you see the rest, you see the image in the middle, right? That you couldn't see when you were looking straight at it. This is that deck right there. If you really want to start doing things that are a lot more, so like this is the devil card. It's temptation, right? Look at this. How gorgeous is that? Right? Look how beautiful these cards are. And people are like, oh, she's sucking them into the devil. No, not at all. But if that's what, if you play gin rummy, then you're playing with the devil, okay? Because that's what those cards are based off of. If you have ever played poker, you are playing with the devil's lettuce, or whatever you call that weed. Yeah, you're playing with the devil's whatever, because that's what all this stuff is based off of. So you can be as hypocritical as you want to, just like they're like, oh, a man, he gets inspiration from God and he gets to be a preacher. A woman gets inspiration from what can't be God. She gets drowned or burned. Or labeled a witch or a whore or something like that, right? But if you're a man, and I'm not a man hater, y'all know I love my man. I love a good divine masculine. My goodness, that's sexier than, I like I said, I tell people I'm pan. I like it all. How do you treat people, right? But I love masculine energy because I was in it for so long, and like I don't want to do it anymore. I'll do it when I need it. Like right now, I'm in my masculine energy, right? Like, well, I'm kind of halfway in and halfway out. I have integrated well, and I'm going to tell you why, and it's not because I'm trying to be. This is for people that are, like, starting to integrate. Not having to operate out of their masculine, especially, like, women, cis females, having to operate out of their masculine just in self-defense and survival, and then also not being in, like, the just, putting feet up and letting everybody do crap for you and expecting, the codependency. Right? So it's being in the middle, like this is me taking a masculine, like I'm doing something to move myself forwards in life, right? By making content to teach others so I can create an empire for myself, right? But in the same nutshell of it, I'm also in receiving mode because I am also pulling information from the universe that has been gifted to me and earned. Quite honestly, like y'all don't know, you haven't asked. You make all these assumptions, but not one person has asked what brought me here. Right? You have all of your assumptions, you run your mouths, you say all these things, but you never asked me. You never took the time to get to know me. So now I don't want to know you. You've already shown yourself to me. Right? That's why these cards are my best friends. I know them. I can trust them. I can't trust you. Give me something to trust and then I'll trust it. Right? So, this deck of cards right here is what I love about it. This is like a very litmus deck. Because it's like, oh my gosh, or is she going to say the word? It's got a trans person in it. Oh, the devil! The devil! This is one of the most inclusive, sexiest decks, and this is why it's so popular. It's probably more popular than the actual Rider-Waite deck, which I got my first Rider-Waite a year ago. Like, actual specific classic Rider-Waite, which was a gift. I'd never even bothered. Like, I knew about it and I could appreciate it. And again, oh, the tarot Nazis. The Rider-Waite, how could she not have, right? Yeah, no. This deck is so inclusive. It's got all of the things. It's got all of, it's a deck of love. And if you are going to get a deck that you really, because this one's like the fancy schmancy, and some people don't want something this big, green and emerald or whatever. And this one has there's a little baby deck of this Light Seers. It's the Light Seers deck. So you can get a little mini one, which is really, really convenient just to slip in your purse. I never leave the house without a deck of cards anymore, even if it's a regular set. But here, ooh, there's a card hiding in here. What is that? It must be special. Ooh, we've got false person. Interesting. Probably somebody watching me or someone within the close vicinity. I wonder. So, see, and the cards will always tell you. They'll always show this card did not need to be in this deck, right? But it's letting you know that there's someone within my very close vicinity that I shouldn't trust. This is how it works, folks. And this is why they tell you not to do it. So yeah, this deck right here is just, and then she has another one. It's the Muse deck, and it's all, but you know, this one, I like being inclusive. I do have the other one, which is Muse, which is all women. There aren't any men, and I don't like to exclude men, but I do use that when I'm doing partner reads, right? But this deck, I would say, if you're really trying to be inclusive to everybody, because a lot of decks like this won't appeal to a man, right? When I'm working with a pilot or something like that, this deck is too frou-frou for them. It's too pretty, right? This deck, depending on what they swing politically, might be a little too triggering for them. Like, this is the stuff you have to think about if you're getting into a spiritual business. Is like, is the Caucasian guy that's lived in the South his entire life going to be receptive to this deck? No. I'm going to pick another deck that's more manly and like, churchy, fire and brimstone-y, right? Because I don't want to turn them off with the artwork, right? This is called intuitive. Like, if you want to be an intuitive professional, this is what we have to think about, right? This is where we have to pull our egos back, realize, look at what we're looking at, right? Be the intuitive reader, psychic, whatever you are. Read the room and learn that sometimes you don't have to just run around. You don't have to beat people over the head. We are not here to recruit people. I'm not trying to recruit you. I know who I am. I know what my gifts are. What I'm trying to do is help you tap into yours, because you can help your life exponentially if you do. And that's all I want to do, is help people get away from the people that are trying to hurt them. That's it. Collective of Pixies in reverse on the bottom. Oh, I wasn't even going to pick this one up, but apparently they wanted to talk. So the Fae. Let's talk about the Fae. It took a long time for me. And it's so funny. This is like one of the second decks I've been exposed to. If you're not familiar with Adelina Bond, there's this whole resurgence of her content that she shut the whole channel down. This was years ago, because she was getting stalked by the government, by the British government, because she was doing reads on the British family. And she was like, I mean, going through the whole thing, and then she had to all of her stuff stripped from the internet, but all these resurgences. Adelina Bond, I believe her real name is Rebecca Wells, but her starseed name is Adelina Bond, Bonn. You should go check her out if you want your mind blown. And she doesn't even do tarot. She's one of my psychic mamas, the very first. And this is the deck. This one and this one are the two decks that I learned how to navigate some fuckery. Okay? And this deck is not sexy. It's not sexy to shuffle. It's the crap. When I got all the reviews, and all the reviews were like, this is a piece of poo. You'll get a better, like, just shuffling matches in a bag. Like matchsticks in a bag. And I got it, and I was like, oh, you know, after you go from this, right, this like purring, it's like a Rolls Royce of shuffles and all this other stuff. And then this cardstock right here with the light sears, I don't know, there is magic in here. There has to be magic, because the way this shuffles, if anybody knows, right? If anybody knows the light sears is just a dream to shuffle. The devil in reverse, I love it. Yeah, that's also another trick too, since we're talking about cards. You really want to get more specific with your card readings, especially partner readings. So you're getting one for the feminine and one for the masculine. If you're doing two separate ones, and maybe like a spread in the middle, you're going to want to, if you can, teach yourself how to be ambidextrous. If you can. And if you're just starting to shuffle, this is the best time to start switching it up and practicing. Not just saying, oh, I'm left-handed, so it's going to be, like, your mind won't, like, you just throw the cards into each hand, because now, when you're doing a reading for a couple, the left side rules the feminine, and the right side rules the masculine. And so you're going to want to put that card, this deck, if you want to get cards on the feminine energy, you're going to put this deck of cards into your left hand, because it rules the feminine, and you're going to shuffle here. And then when you want to get cards for the masculine, you're going to put it over in your other hand, and you're going to shuffle here. If you're just doing a regular shuffle, you might get cards in the middle that's like mixed and everything like that, but that's a very, very good way to be able to really know whose cards are which, is if you are able to switch your hands. Okay? Fun note. Okay, so vroom, vroom, vroom. I was like, don't put us down. The fairies. So Brian Froud, the illustrator, I believe it's The Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal, and something else that's like really famous. He is the illustrator, and this is the deck of the fairies. I don't know. The fairy of the A. I don't know. All of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. Woo, I got some anxiety here. Yeah, I feel like somebody's trying to pop their head in here. It might be this false person that's lurking about. It's a possibility. That's what I love about these cards. They're just so like, what in your face. All right, so these cards are actually, when you get this book is like an encyclopedia. The amount of backstory on the, like, it's crazy. I didn't even get through a paragraph of it. I just like skimmed through, and like I was watching her, so I was getting a lot of, like picking up on a lot of her descriptions. And I can't wait to go back and get this book again and go through, because this deck of cards, when you're looking at like character profiling, there's something about it. Well, there's something about the Fae. I didn't believe in fairies. I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist church. I wasn't allowed to watch anything. I wasn't allowed to dream. I wasn't allowed to, like, all the books I read were either about, like, survival, like Oregon Trail, or, like, animals. Like, I had no access to any type of secular type of stuff. Like, I was kept into one-room schoolhouses and locked in my room and fed to predators. So, there's that, right? So, that's why I was reading books copiously. And we have this deck, so I never believed in magic, and there's a good reason. I definitely stopped believing in God. I started questioning a lot of things, and I got into a really bad place, like, in my life for a very long time, and so to believe in, like, fairies, I wasn't even allowed to watch cartoons, much less fairies. So, like, the Fae, I was like, okay, whatevs. But they're real. They will play tricks on you. They will take your things. They will, they are, why do I want to say covert, but they're not narcissists, but I'm getting like picking up a covert narcissist. Yeah. It's like, with somebody like walking in the backyard, what's going on? Yeah, I can feel somebody's anxiety. I'm like, woo, we gotta clear this space. Well, I'm wide open too, right? Yeah, as the sirens go away. All you have to do is, that's another thing, is if like you feel something, I'm like, why would I need to feel anxious right now? I don't. That's not my energy. You say, if this is my energy, it'll go away. If it's not your energy, it'll go away immediately. You just say, is this mine? Do I have a reason to be extremely anxious or over whatever? Like, no. It's somebody else that's around me, and I'm going to clear that shit. And if you can't do fire, if you can't burn, like people will think like this is marijuana and it's not, but you can get clearing mists, and you can wear amulets and gree, and I'll be offering that all my good stuff, so stay tuned. Alright, so I feel I need on the backside too. Spiritual hygiene, y'all, especially when you're wide open on the internet. Like, because here's the thing is, right, because I'm prophetic. I'm not trying to be cool. It just is what it is. Most times I wish I would just, I'm not going to put that out there, but I'm just saying it's not awesome. So it's like I talk about things, and then it's like 2 weeks later, and it's like I can feel the energies of people that will be watching this in the future. And so that's why I'm clearing so much, right? Because you just can't stand it. And you can't stand it because you have these abilities. You just can't come out about it. You can't feel like you can go, like you feel trapped. And you are. And you can get out. I promise you. The more and more my story comes out, you'll be surprised how much you can get out of. I'll teach you how to be an escape artist. First thing, get a deck of cards. All right. Next two decks, they want to be, presented together. It's the twinsies. It's like Prince and Kurt in the corner. If you know, you know. Like, you can go check out my other channel. I was going to say Daughter of Wind. No, it's the Baby Steps Tea. Tarot, Esoteric, and Astrology, Baby Steps Tea. Check out that channel, and I'm starting to do like medium celebrity channelings over there. And so I got the boys now, my little raccoons in the attic, and they just hang out and all the good stuff. But it's coming up. It's just like, it's the timing. Timing's got to be right. Energy's got to be right. Staying nimble, Yana, because of the shenanigans. All right. Oh, okay. See, this is my deck. Okay. I don't want to offend anybody. Earmuffs. I call it my Euro trash deck. Okay. And it's not because I love Europe. Europe is like, I love Europe a lot. I was like, is my bra fastened? Right? Y'all think I'm like some hoe, and I'm like, do I have my boobies in? Oh, okay. So yeah, we have, is this the Lenormand? This is the Lenormand. And this is the Kipper. Yeah. Okay. So we have a Lenormand, and we have a Kipper. Okay, this is two Kippers. Double up your decks, folks. So there are different Lenormands. So this is the Enchanted Lenormand, and if you have the extra funds, I think it might be $10. So worth it. It's tiny. It's the most sensitive. It's like the most sensitive deck. I mean, you can breathe on it and it'll flip over. It's like you're in front of a tree and the tree will come out. But what I love about it is that it actually has two sets. So like the traditional Lenormand has the man and has the woman in it. The Lenormand doesn't have a lot of people in it. The Kipper does. We'll get to the Kipper. The Lenormand has a lot of things like trees, ships, anchors, all these other riders, messengers, right? So you get a lot of outward, it's kind of like B-roll information, environmental information with the Lenormand. But this one in particular, the Enchanted, it's seriously enchanted. So instead of having two men, or just the two men, the traditional men that are in the regular Kipper deck, they'll have two sets. They'll have one, like, that's the very amorous one, and the one that's just the regular guy. And then they'll have the older one and what have you. This one doesn't really have the age ranges in it. This one has, get ready for it, race. That's right. Somebody's a Mexican, the brown skin card comes out. Somebody's Caucasian or German, the white card comes out. You want to start actually experimenting with card vibrations, right? These cards work on vibration of what's around you. Like there's a dog running by and the dog card comes out. But my favorite, not only can you get the actual like race of people, but there is a tarot reader in here. That's right, folks. If there is another reader doing readings on you, this deck will pick it up. From my heart to yours. All right, so the Enchanted Lenormand. So this one is made by, like I said, Ciro Marchetti. I actually had a conversation with him on the internets through the tarot forum because I started mixing my cards and people were like, you can't do that. Especially like with these two, like the Lenormand and the Kipper, because they come from like different backgrounds. Like one's German and the other one's French or something like that. But the Kipper, people don't realize, the Kipper has so many people. It's got lovers, the false person, it's got the thief, it's got the wealthy man, it's got the, well, I'll show you, lovers. It's so many people. False person, right? Occupation, the wealthy man, the thief. If someone is stealing from you, this card will come up in your house. This is how sensitive these cards are. I'm telling you, if someone's an awful person, the snake comes up. Someone that's under the age of 40, 45, this card will come up. Someone that's over the age. Someone that's in a relationship, it's going to come up. People are talking to who's sleeping with who. Who's in bad health. Who's honorable or dishonorable. Where's the money coming from? Does someone like despair? Is this you or is it not? Are they coming towards you? Are they not? Are they good in the house? Are they not? This is privileged lady, mature man over the age of 45. Okay, marriage. This is what these cards, they are so specific. These are fortune-telling cards. This isn't the tarot system. This is what people want to keep you away from. Why? Because they can identify them like that. Like that. Where's my husband right now? Right? Who are they sleeping with? Where's the money? These are your decks right here. So what I do is I take the two because they're both by the same artist. And I actually asked him if it was okay because people were like, this is, in the tarot community, it's, what did they say, sacrilege. And he was like, you do whatever you want. So I take these, I take two Kippers. Listen closely. You have 18 people when you have two Kippers and a Lenormand. And you can assign them. This is always a third party. This is always a spouse. This is always a man that you're not attached to. This is always a karmic, right? You have that many people in the deck. You can start getting really, really accurate readings. There's no gatekeeping here. Just mix it up. Make your own Euro trash deck. I guarantee it. You're going to love it. But worst case scenario, if you don't get, I would say get a Kipper before a Lenormand. But if you were going to get a Lenormand, I would get this one. Because when you can say who done it, like in the office, and you can identify between, like, I know it sounds whatever, but like a Caucasian man and a dark-skinned man, or woman, or know when somebody's putting magic on you, or like getting readings on you, like this little, you can't go wrong with it. I think that's it. Is that it? Oh no, we've got one more. Now this one, it's very underestimated. Okay, this is a very, very underestimated deck. And I was hesitant because I actually use the shamanic deck a lot more than this one. But it was like, what's the most poignant, what's the most pivotal, and what's the most useful? And yes, the shamanic deck is incredible. And we are going to have another episode of like my other decks that I don't want to live without, but these are the ones that I can't live without. Like for me to be able to do the work that I do. Just a core group. It's not saying can't. I mean, I can just get downloads, but I like, these are, like I said, it's family. It's like reading an actual book versus reading a Kindle. It's like the smell of it and the touch of it and the sound of it and the weight of it, all of the things, right? The senses. I'm very sensory. So anyways, we have here, they're like, don't skip over it. Well, I have a lot of sensory, I don't, using the word sensitive, right? It's like using the word discipline. It makes you feel some kind of way. So instead of discipline now, I use self-mastery. So I need to find another word for sensitive. I found it the other day and I'm in flow, and I think I relate it to a person, and maybe you remind me of that. But it's like, it's the neural pathways, right? It's changing your neuroplasticity and not using the same phrases and everything like that you've done your entire life or what people have told you. But this deck was it was my first magic deck. Like, when I say magic, like, I was so, like, I didn't know how to shuffle. And then all of a sudden, like, it just spoke to me. The moon had always spoken to me. Now I know why. It was just intrinsic. And it started freaking me out, not gonna lie. Started freaking me out. I have a very, very close relationship with this deck because, like, the cards would come out on the day that it was. It would be like full moon in Taurus, and the full moon in Taurus would come out. Or it was an actual blue moon, and the blue moon card would come out. Like, first, like, it was freaking me out. And that's when I learned it's a vibrational thing. If it's on that day, then that card's going to come out, right? But I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. I was trying not to, like, freak out about all the voices in my head. Like, you know, like, at that time when you don't know that you have different spirit guides, and it's like you're listening to the guidance, but you don't know exactly what it is. And you don't know, like, I didn't know, right? Like, I had no clue. And so it was very scary for for a long time. But then it was just like, I was dodging bullets, like, here and there, just listening. And it wasn't voices in my head. It was just one. Like, it was just my inner guidance, like, listen, but actually, in my ear. And so I just want to encourage the people that are out there right now that are feeling very lost or just feeling maybe a little hoo-hoo. There's a big awakening right now. And so I just want you, if you've stumbled across this video, to consider that maybe it's not you and it's them. And that maybe there is a way, like, the voices in your head, it might not just be voices. You just might be talking to dead people. I didn't know. I didn't know that I was a medium, right? I had I was horrified. It took me so long, up until very recently. And I wouldn't say horrified because I've gotten very comfortable with the other side now. But because they're just people. They just cross over. It's an actual veil. It's just like, other side. That's it. Bag of bones. Like, the meat suit's gone. That's it. They're still there. They're hanging out. They still have the same attitudes, all the same. Like, they're there and they're watching, and they're either helping or whispering in your ears or even perpetuating, trying to keep you in generational curses, right? Like, not all of our ancestors were awesome. They want you to keep molesting the kids, right? Keep it in the family. Like, that's just, you gotta, like, if you've made it through the end of this video, then you're probably starting to wake up a little, and that's amazing, and I'm really proud of you. And stay tuned. We'll see you on the flip. Bye.